You were taught to chase retirement like it's a finish line, 40 years away, buried under compound interest, market risk, and quiet desperation. But the problem, well, that finish line keeps moving. Inflation drags it forward, taxes eat your progress, and every crash resets the scoreboard. But what if you've been looking in the wrong direction? What if the thing you've been chasing has been quietly sitting in your grasp, not decades away, but a few $1,000s from now? See, there's a number you've probably heard but never respected, and that's 1 million satoshis, just 0.01 worth of Bitcoin. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but what you're about to see is that 1 million satoshis could be the foundation of real financial freedom, if you understand what's coming. Now, not a get-rich-quick scheme, not a moonshot gamble, but a new framework for retirement built on digital scarcity and not financial dependency. Now, I just quickly want to chuck this in here. This is a free course of mine, and it's called Sovereign by Design. So if you want to understand more about sovereignty, then this mini course is for you. Now, what I'll do is link it down in the description below. See, let's get brutally honest. The retirement plan you were sold was designed for a different world. One where money held value, jobs were stable, and the average person could own real assets without drowning in debt. Now, that world doesn't exist anymore, because today most people aren't retiring. They're just surviving longer, working into their 60s, watching their savings melt while their cost of living climbs. And yet, we're still told the answer is to save more fiat, more dollars, more digits in a system that devalues them every time someone presses print. But here's the shift. What if retirement isn't about hitting a number, but owning a position? Now, not in a portfolio, but in a protocol. See, there are only 21 million Bitcoin total. Now, each one is divisible into 100 million satoshis. Now, that gives us a total supply of 2.1 quadrillion sats. Now, that sounds like a lot until you break it down by global population. 8 billion people. So if you do the math, that's about 262,000 sats per person. But that's only if Bitcoin is distributed evenly. But it won't be, because now remove lost coins, institutional holdings, ETF custody, cold wallets that haven't moved in a decade. Well, suddenly, those 1 million satoshis isn't just more than your share. It's a claim on a financial real estate the rest of the world hasn't even discovered yet. And here's the part no one talks about. If Bitcoin adoption plays out like the internet did in the early 2000s, 1 million satoshis could represent generational leverage. Now, not because Bitcoin has to go to $1 million or $5 million or even $10 million, but because the purchasing power of scarce, unprintable money increases as fiat systems crumble. So let's project this out 10 to 15 years. Bitcoin has crossed 1 billion users. It's held by governments, integrated into payment networks, used as a reserve asset, and accepted in places where trust in fiat has collapsed. Now, in that world, Bitcoin doesn't just represent wealth, it represents exit velocity, the ability to opt out of decaying systems. And 1 million sats, well, that's not a lottery ticket, that's the seed of sovereignty. It could buy you a small property, fund your international mobility, and serve as collateral for Bitcoin-backed credit, or simply be used as uncancelable savings when banks freeze accounts. Because here's the truth, the most valuable form of wealth in the future won't be flashy. It will be unprintable, unseizable, and borderless. And that's what 1 million satoshis really represent. See, let me tell you a little story. There's a guy, let's call him Chris. Middle-aged, not a trader, not tech savvy, doesn't really care about crypto. But back in 2023, he heard about Bitcoin from a friend. Now, he didn't understand all of it, but he got the core idea. They can print dollars, but they can't print Bitcoin. So Chris started stacking. Now, not thousands, just $50 here and $100 there. And every time he got paid, a little went into purchasing satoshis. Now, over 2 years, he accumulated 1,000,000 sats. Now, that was less than $500 at the time. Now, friends laughed. That can't even buy a MacBook. What's the point? But Chris didn't care. He wasn't buying gadgets. He was buying exit velocity. Now, fast forward a decade and fiat has inflated beyond recognition. Banks are restricting withdrawals. But Chris, well, he has a cold wallet with 1,000,000 sats and global options. Now, no credit score needed, no permission required, and he doesn't have retirement, he has freedom. See, let's change how we define retirement. Because it's not about age, it's not about a 401k, it's not about being rich, it's about optionality. See, retirement begins the moment you own enough sovereignty that no one can force your time into obedience. And 1,000,000 sats in a world of fiat chaos and CBDCs is not small. It's enough to say no. It's enough to wait. And it's enough to move. But most importantly, well, it's enough to stop being afraid. Because fear is what keeps people trapped in the retirement rat race. Fear of running out. Fear of losing status, and fear of the unknown. But what if you had a digital vault that couldn't be diluted? What if you had money that respected your time? Would you still be afraid? Or would you start designing your life on your terms and not Wall Street's? See, think about this. People spend their whole lives trying to become dollar millionaires. But what is a dollar millionaire in a system where money loses 8% a year? It's not wealth, it's velocity decay with better branding. But now imagine this instead. You own 1,000,000 satoshis. They're fixed, immutable, and, most importantly, they're yours. Now, while others are stuck in fiat purgatory, you're sitting on a sovereign slice of the new base layer of money. And if you think that's small, just remember this. There was a time when owning one internet domain was considered pointless. There was a time where owning 10, 100 shares of Amazon felt like a joke. Now, scarcity plus conviction always looks foolish in the beginning, until the world catches up. See, right now, 1,000,000 sats costs less than a weekend trip. But that window won't stay open forever, because this isn't about the price of Bitcoin, it's about position before velocity. And if you believe the world is moving towards digital scarcity, if you see the cracks in fiat, and if you understand what can't be printed will eventually be priceless, well, then 1,000,000 sats is not a small goal. It's a milestone of clarity. And the beauty, you're not late, you're early. Stupid early. Because the world hasn't woken up yet. And most are still chasing fiat dreams, inflationary assets, and rigged retirements. But you, well, you see it. You understand that freedom doesn't come in big lumps, it comes in sats. And everyone you stack is a brick in the fortress that they can't touch. So ask yourself, do you want to retire with paper promises or with digital sovereignty that they can't erase? Now the plan is simple. Stack 1,000,000 sats, then maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 million. Sit still, stay free, because in a world that's getting louder, silence, conviction, and 1,000,000 sats might be the most powerful statement you could ever make. Now, one last time, I'm just going to chuck this in here again, Sovereign by Design. If you want to come and check this out, there'll be a link for this down in the description below. Now, if you've made it this far, and if you're not too sure what to watch next, well, I have this playlist for you just here, which you can go ahead and binge watch if you enjoy watching my content, or if you want a single video, you can watch this one just here, recommended to you by YouTube.